thought it was about the dogs. Nah, it's about power. Yeah. Put up to the specialty, sunrise on the ground. Dogs in the grooming tents, whispers all around. Catalog smiles with the tension in the air. Every handshake got a hidden little snare. Bored in the back room, running quiet little schemes. Bylaws in the pocket like a stack of poker dreams. Say it's for the breed, but they guarding their throne. If you question anything, they coming for your bone. Grievance in the envelope, certified mail. Club justice system, but the day.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Oh, I'm a little disheveled this morning. They said that court wasn't going to start till 10, and then they changed it again till 9 at 9. So didn't have time to do anything. So my time's off, all that stuff. Just got a shower, didn't have time to do my hair, nothing. Oh, hope everybody had a good weekend. Probably won't have people rolling in until 10 o'clock because I didn't have time to get everything set up and changed and all that stuff until a few minutes ago. Everybody had it set up at 10 o'clock and then all of a sudden it changed till 9. So I don't know what happened, if they knew that they were going to go. I don't know if they're going to have a motion this morning or what. So we shall see. We shall see what I was pretty sure that he said that it was going to be at 9 o'clock this morning. On Friday or on Thursday. So I don't know what changed from then till now. But everybody had it set up for $10. So everything got disheveled. So I'm sorry if you guys didn't get the notification that I was going early until a few minutes ago. Let's see. But we are in court. I like Associated Press better because their sound is better. Oh, I should probably turn up my sound too. Noticing lately that I have feedback somehow. When I'm playing it back, I don't know if I turn it up too loud. I just want you all to be able to hear it good enough. Here looks like crap. Oh well. All right, I will be right back. I'm gonna fill my coffee. They're always late. So we shall see. Got the volume on. Be right back.
This court is now in session. Please be seated.
Good morning, Your Honor. May I proceed?
Yes, please.
Your Honor, before the court today, we have the matter of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. Ms. Clancy is present. She is represented by Attorney Kevin Reddington, and the Commonwealth is represented by Assistant District Attorney Jennifer Sprague and Assistant District Attorney Shannon Buckingham.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, counsel. Good morning, Ms. Clancy. All right. Before we bring the jury in, could I see everybody just for a few seconds?
Oh my God, these sidebars. That must be his son, I would think. And he's talking to about that. Huh. Live, laugh, and sing. So those are two family members right there. That must be his son, I'm thinking. These are, I'm guessing, family members. Parents, maybe.
All rise, please. Hey, all persons having anything to do before the Honorable William Sullivan, Justice of the Superior Court, now sitting in Plymouth, within and for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This court is now in session. Please be seated.
Good morning, Your Honor. May I proceed?
Please.
Your Honor, before the court today, we have the continuation of the jury trial in the matter of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. Ms. Clancy is present. She is represented by Attorney Kevin Reddington. The Commonwealth is represented by Assistant District Attorney Jennifer Sprague and Assistant District Attorney Shannon Buckingham.
Well, good morning, everyone. Nice to see everyone. I hope everybody had a chance to kind of rest up a little bit and come back here, and we're going to get right back to the trial. So I want to do first, ask you those questions since we had a long break, and then talk a little bit about the schedule and kind of today's schedule and kind of where we go from here. So first question, as you know, has any member of the jury read, seen, heard, or overheard anything from any source about any aspect of this case that would affect your ability to be a fair and impartial juror? All right. Next question, is there any other serious matter or concern bearing on your service as a juror in this case that anybody needs to bring to my attention at this time? Again, thank you so much for following those instructions. Today's schedule is that it may be kind of a little bit stop and start. Okay, so kind of bear with us on that. Might be a couple times you got to take a break just after a short amount of time, and then we'll bring you back in. It's just the nature of cases at this point. It's anticipated that the Commonwealth will close their portion of the evidence today.
Oh.
Right? Then at that point, the defendant has the opportunity, if they want to present witnesses and evidence if they want to. But remember, they don't have to. The burden of proof is always on the Commonwealth. All right. If the defendant offers evidence, then the Commonwealth is then given the opportunity to offer rebuttal evidence. All right. And so that's kind of the next phase that we're about to go into after the Commonwealth rests. And I'll go into a little bit more kind of how that goes, but I just kind of wanted you to kind of see where we are and where everything's going to fit procedurally as we go forward from here. So with that, We're going to return to the Commonwealth's case, and Attorney Sprague.
Thank you, Your Honor. Commonwealth calls Ian Whiffin.
You're gonna rest today? That's interesting. Well, it is, this would be the third week, but it's the beginning of the third week. 6 to 8, they did say 6 to 8 weeks, so.
I would rather I do.
You can make noise, you're fine.
All right, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
All right. Attorney Sprague, please.
Thank you. Good morning. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Yes, it's Ian Whiffin. IANWHIFFIN.
Where do you work?
Cellebrite.
What is Cellebrite?
Cellebrite is a digital intelligence company working in the digital forensics field.
And how long have you worked there?
Since 2020.
What is your role at Cellebrite?
I'm currently a customer engagement manager.
What does that mean?
I work with customers, helping users of our tools to understand the digital evidence that they're finding and presenting.
And what does digital evidence consist of?
Any information which is extracted from a cell phone, primarily or from a computer, which can be interpreted by the examiner and presented as evidence. It could be call history, messages, location data, media, anything that you can find from a digital device.
And could you just briefly describe your educational and training background that qualifies you to do this work?
Yeah, I've worked in IT for many years. In 2013, I began my career within Calgary Police Service in Canada as a digital forensics examiner. That was after spending approximately 9 or 10 years working as a patrol officer in the UK and in Canada. As part of my role as a digital forensics examiner within the Calgary Police, I went on numerous training courses. The Canadian Police College, they did an introductory course into digital forensics, and then further courses focusing on mobile data provided by some vendors such as Blacklight or Cellebrite at the time, as well as further courses presented by the Canadian Police College, specifically about cell phones.
And Cellebrite, the software produced by Cellebrite, is that software used to extract and analyze data from cell phones and computers?
Yes, there are several tools within our catalog. One of them is designed to extract as much data as possible from a cell phone. And then one of the other tools is designed to take that extracted data, decode it, decrypt it, make sense of it, and provide it to the user in a way which can be searched, filtered, organized, reported, and presented.
Does Cellebrite's ability to access cell phone data continually change based on improvements that are done to the phones themselves?
Yes, there's constantly changes being made to devices which make it difficult to extract the data. There are changes being made to the software that means that the data that we extract is now different to the data that we extracted previously. A new feature, for example, or a change that's made by the software developer. So we're constantly changing our software to be able to extract that data and to decode more data.
Were you asked to locate Apple Health data and other information that could be relevant to the investigation of an incident that occurred at 47 Summer Street in Duxbury on January 24th, 2023?
I was, yes.
And what is Apple Health data?
Apple Health is a component of the iOS operating system, which logs sensor data from multiple locations. So there's sensors built within an iPhone that monitor steps taken, flights climbed, for example, as well as third-party devices, Apple Watches, Fitbits, any other device like that. All the information is brought into the Apple Health application, aggregated, and made available for the user to see.
Roughly how many phone extractions have you done?
Since around 2013, well over 1,000 phones.
And how many and how many times have you done analysis on phone extractions?
The analysis is part and parcel. So of those 1,000 phones or so which I've extracted, I've done analysis on all of those phones as well.
And then you've also done analysis on extractions, like in this case where someone else did the extraction and provided the information to you and you did the analysis?
Correct, yeah. Whenever I'm helping customers or users of our tools, they may provide me with the extracted data. So the data which I'm analyzing is more than the devices I've extracted.
And have you testified previously in courts about what you've done in terms of extracting and analyzing information?
Yes, I've testified in multiple courts around the world, approximately 28 times.
Now, you received a copy of the extraction for Lindsay Clancy's iPhone 13, correct?
Correct.
And when you received that extraction, did you also want to know all the specific information about the case and the investigation?
Typically, when I'm working a case, I don't want to know a lot of detail. I'd rather come to my own conclusions based on the data that I'm viewing rather than note the intricacies of the case. All I require is an outline, the date that something happened, the time, who was involved, basic information.
Oh, that's good.
And in terms of the extraction that was done on Lindsay Clancy's iPhone, that extraction, what type of extraction was it?
That's what's called a full file system extraction. It's essentially all of the data which is being extracted from the device that is still live.
And did you use specific tools to conduct your analysis?
Yes, there's the Cellebrite physical analyzer tool created by Cellebrite and also my own tooling. Applications I've been working on for several years.
So you've actually made your own tools that allow you to examine phone extractions?
Correct. There's some tools that I've been working on since prior to joining Cellebrite. Tools that as an examiner, I decided that I needed to create for myself and make available to others. And I still use those tools to this day.
And these tools that you used, are those the tools that allow you to examine and categorize the information, the data that you find in the extraction?
Yes, the primary point of the tool is to go into the data, decode it, provide it in a way which is easy to filter and search, but also additional tools there that allow you to dig into the data and look at the raw information, the databases, the files, all of the raw information, which is what our tools initially decode.
And did you focus in on a particular time frame when looking at the data on the defendant's iPhone?
Primarily, I knew that the date of the incident was 24th of January 2023, so that was the main focus of my analysis. But some of the data I was aware could be from further afield than that, so I took a look of, I think it was around 3 weeks before that, so early January to late January.
Were you able to look at the health data on January 24th, 2023 that was in the defendant's phone extraction?
I was, yes.
And what is health data? And how does it show up on a phone?
The user of the phone would be able to access the health data via the health application, where the information is broken down to explain how many steps have been taken over a particular period of time, the approximate distance that was traveled, the number of stair flights that were climbed. That data is stored on the device itself in a database. So as a forensic examiner, I can take a look at that database in its raw form, understand exactly where that information is coming from, and present it to the user of our forensic tools in a slightly more forensic-friendly method than the user of the application on the phone would see.
Showing you on the screen here, page 4 of your report. Looking here, we have a section here, heart rate data, is that correct?
Correct.
And you're able to see here, what can you tell about the heart rate data from the extraction?
So heart rate data comes from wearing an Apple Watch or a similar device, not from the phone itself. In the case of this phone, there was an Apple Watch paired to the device, and all of the heart rate data, which is recorded periodically throughout the day, is stored within the health database.
What was the name associated with the Apple Watch?
So as it says in the third paragraph down, the Apple Watch itself was called Lindsay's Apple Watch.
And here in the report, you're able to show the recorded heart rates throughout the day. How is the heart rate recorded and sent to the phone?
There are sensors on the Apple Watch itself on the rear, which periodically check the heart rate at any given time, and that information is sent to the phone via Bluetooth.
You can also check your own heart rate.
And are you aware of how often an iWatch will record the data and report it to an iPhone?
The actual cadence at which the watch is checking would depend on what the user's doing. So if you were in the middle of a workout, it would be a lot more consistent than just periodically throughout the day. And I actually don't know how often it is throughout the day. If you're not doing any particular workout, there doesn't seem to be a set cadence. Every device I've looked at, it's slightly different.
I'm showing you page 5 of your report, this database of
It's not in his iPad.
heart rates. For example, in several locations, there'll be a heart rate report, maybe a few seconds in between them, and others there's 7 or 8 minutes in between the heart rate report. Is that what you're talking about, how it varies depending on what you're doing at that point in time?
Yes, this is typical from what you see when you look at the database. The timestamps are never consistently at a recognizable cadence.
And the highlights in green, what do those represent?
So I actually tried to just highlight some of the high points for the day. I realized a few days ago while reviewing this, there was records there that show a high of 123 and 122, which I had not highlighted.
That's right there, right below, right
Correct.
around 1146.
Yes.
And what was the last time a heart rate was reported from the watch to the defendant's phone?
So the last heart rate recorded was at 17:23:52, so 23 minutes past 5 in the afternoon, with a heart rate of 57 beats per minute.
What was the average heart rate for the day for the defendant's phone?
There was a range of heart rates going between as low as, I believe, around 50 and as high as around 122. On average, it was around high 80s, early 90s.
And so at 5:23 p.m., the last recording of her heart rate was 57?
Correct.
And there aren't any further heart rates reported to the phone after that point, correct?
That's correct.
And what are some of the reasons why a watch would no longer be reporting a heart rate to the phone?
Took it off.
If the watch was taken off, if the watch was turned off,
The battery.
If the battery died?
the battery was dead, yes.
You also mentioned flight climb data. What is that?
Flight climb is information which the Apple Health application stores every time it detects that you walk up a flight of stairs. So a flight of stairs would be considered either a 3-meter or 10-foot incline over 16 steps. So the device has detected that both the altitude has changed by 10 feet and there were steps being walked at the same time.
So there's 2 factors being considered there. The steps that your watch monitors as you walk, and then the altitude. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And what is it? Is it GPS or something that's keeping track of your altitude?
The altitude is being monitored by a barometer or an altimeter, which is inside the device, just measuring for differences in air pressure.
And this information, the flight climb data, can that be monitored by both a watch and your phone if you have it on you?
It is. Both devices have got the barometers built in. Both devices can monitor flight climb events.
Can anything simulate or kind of fake out the watch or the phone into thinking that a flight of stairs is being climbed when it's not?
Escalator.
There are some circumstances where that can happen. They're typically quite rare, but it can happen.
Throwing your phone up.
Is an example of that being in a car and going up a hill?
Correct, yes. If there is movement which the device can mistake for steps at the same time as the incline is being driven, then that could accidentally record a flight climb.
But if a person's not in a car and is in their home, then it would be flights climbed, not hills being driven, correct?
Correct. If the person is in a house and there are flight climbs being recorded, then the only rational explanation is that the person was climbing stairs.
How is the data in terms of flight climb data? How is that data displayed? Or in the health data itself?
Within the application or within the forensic tool?
Within the forensic tool.
Okay. So within the forensic tool, we break down, or within Physical Analyzer, we break down the health data into hour segments. So for an hour, we may say that there are 3 flight climbs. And then it's up to the user to dig in a little further. They can select that 1 hour and then see how that activity breaks down over the hour. So you would see that there were 2 flight climbs that occurred at 10 minutes after the hour, and then another flight climb occurred later on.
So showing you page 6 of your report here.
It's just going to be on the 24th.
The top box here.
Yes.
Is that showing the general hour data where 3 flights have been climbed?
Correct. So in this case, the user is looking at a time period between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. And the health data that's been pulled from the database has been aggregated. And it tells you that there's 98 samples being considered. The maximum heart rate during that hour-long period was 108. The distance traveled was approximately 759 meters. And there were 5 flights climbed within the hour.
And then below that, you break that down a little further, correct?
Correct. So this is further down the screen in the interface, where we can see actual time of 10:17:27, where there's 2 flights climbed. And again, another record at 10:17:28, where there were 2 flights climbed, and then a further flight climb at 10:49.
And then going down to the bottom here, this table, what are we seeing here in this table?
So you may have realized in the slide above where there was 2 flight climbs at 17 seconds past and 2 flight climbs at 18 seconds past. That's an unrealistic measurement. It's because one of those measurements comes from the phone and one comes from the watch. This table breaks it down to say which of these records came from the watch and which came from the phone, because there are some which overlap.
So what you're saying is the prior table, it showed 4 flights of stairs being climbed at the same time within seconds, which isn't rational. But this breaks it down to show some of that data is coming from the watch and some of it's coming from the phone, correct?
Correct. So if we look at records at 4 and 5 here, for example, we can see a start time of 10:17:27 and an end time of 10:27:06, where the watch recorded 2 flight climbs. And then 1 second later, a start time, and 2 seconds later for the end time, we see the watch also detected 2 flight climbs. This is just the same 2 flight climb events that happened, but both devices recorded those flight climbs with slightly different timestamps.
And that will happen if I'm wearing my watch and I have my phone in my pocket and I go up the stairs?
That's correct.
Did you do something to compare these times and make a table where where you ignored or disregarded the double entries?
I did. I tried to correlate and discard all of the duplicate information. So where there was an event of a flight climb that was recorded on the watch and the phone, rather than provide information that said there was 2 flight climbs, I would ignore one of them and limit it to just the ones which we could prove happened.
And that's displayed here in this chart at the bottom of page 7 of your report.
Correct.
Going to page 8 of your report, we have here at the top of page 8, does that show the last flight climbs recorded on either the defendant's phone or watch?
It does. It shows that there was additional flight climb events logged by the phone, which were not logged by the watch at 17:03 and 17:33.
So these records indicate that at 5:03 p.m., the defendant's iPhone was with the person as it went up the stairs, and then at 5:33 p.m., the iPhone was with the person as it went up the 2 flights of stairs.
Correct.
And there's a time difference there. The start time is 5:33 p.m. and the end time is 5:38 p.m. For 2 flights of stairs. So that's roughly 5 minutes in between the 2 flights. Is there a way to explain that length of time?
The way the Apple Health data records this information, aggregates it, it tries to group events together. So in this case, it would have recognized that there was a flight climb on the phone at around 17:33:34 and a second one at around 17:38:33, and it just grouped them both into one event. It doesn't mean that it took 5 minutes to walk up 2 flights of stairs. It's just within that 5-minute period, there were 2 flight climbs.
So if I have my phone in my pocket and I climb up a flight of stairs and then I spend a few minutes on that floor, and then still with my phone in my pocket go up another flight of stairs, that's representative of what we're seeing here at 5:33?
Correct. There tends to be around a 10-minute window where it tries to check every 10 minutes, but it can reduce that window in a case like this where it sees that there's group data within a smaller time period.
And then further down on page 8, we have another table here, which seems to have combined data of heart rate and flight climb data. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, because she went to the kitchen and got a knife. So she went up the basement stairs, went to the kitchen, got a knife, and then went up to the master bedroom. So it all makes sense based on the data.
Did you also look at web usage on the extraction of the defendant's phone?
I did, yes.
And what did you do to look at the web usage on the phone, and what time frame did you look at?
For web usage, I expanded the time of interest to early January to the 24th of January, and just took a look at any web history over that time. There was over 1,300 records recovered. I took a cursory look down that list and highlighted some which potentially were relevant to the case, and then provided the 1,300 actual records as a appendix report.
And going to page 12 of your report, looks like you started here on January 10th, 2023. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And basically here you list various searches that occurred on each day between January 10th and January 24th from the extraction. Is that correct?
That's correct. Broken down by day with the time of the search, the website that was visited, the title of the web page, and then the identifier in the database.
And looking at these searches, on January 12th, 2023, at 19:48, so that would be 7:48 p.m., is that correct?
Correct.
There was a search. In the title, it says, "How quickly does Wellbutrin work for depression?" Is that the title? Is that what the user is putting into the search?
If I could see the search, please.
I'll zoom in on that.
So the top entry here we can see starts with https www.google.com/search !Q. The text after the Q, how quickly does Wellbutrin work, is what the user searched. Typically that is exactly as the user typed it, assuming that there are no auto-completions in place. In this particular case, it appears it was searched using Safari. So there's no auto-completion. That is essentially what the user typed in. And then the title, how quickly does I can't say that word, I'm afraid. Wellbutrin, thank you. Work for depression, Google search is the title of the page which Google assigns.
So where it says after the Q, how plus, quickly plus, does plus, the user's not putting in those pluses, correct? Is that what you're calling those?
So that's part of the attribute. It's how the data is encoded in a URL or in a web search. You can't have spaces within this address string. So they replace the spaces with the plus symbol.
So I type in how quickly does, and the computer adds the pluses in the space marks?
Yes, it's URL encoding to make it safe for the browser.
And then at 7:49, there's a search for Lamictal for depression.
Yes, and depression spelled with a B at the end instead of an N, which demonstrates that this is what the user typed in rather than a page that was being visited.
And then a few minutes later at 7:55 p.m., the user typed in Ellaville for depression, correct?
Correct.
And then on page 16, on January 18th, 2023, at 10:25,
Ketamine, Jesus.
we have a search there, ketamine for suicidal ideation, is that correct?
Correct.
And again, that's the user typing that in.
Yeah, again, those words were typed in by the user.
And then on January 19th, 2023, on page 17 of your report, we have symptoms of postpartum psychosis searched on January 19th.
Correct.
So she knew what the symptoms were.
And again, so we're looking at, this is AM, correct? 9:24 AM that was searched?
Yes, the morning.
19.
And then 9:30 AM, there's another search for psychosis symptoms?
Yes.
Going back to that same page, page 17, at the bottom for January 24th, we have here searches for kids Miralax at 4:02 p.m. and takeout 3V at 4:13 p.m. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then CVS Pharmacy at 4:47 p.m. Correct?
Correct.
There was also an Apple note that you found in the records, correct?
That was.
The Apple note, in your report, it says it was created on December 22nd, 2022 at 10:23 a.m. Strike that. and then modified at 10:23 a.m. on January 23rd, 2023, correct?
Correct.
And are you able to tell what in the note was modified?
No, there's no real auditable log to look back and see how many times it's been modified over the course of its life. I was able to do some amount of recovery to see that on the day it was created, it started in a very similar way to as it's written on the 24th or 23rd of January, but the exact changes between when it first was created and the last time it was modified, we don't know.
And then you also looked at messages, correct?
Correct.
And were you able to compile the messages that were sent and received between the defendant and her mother and the defendant and her husband on January 24th, 2023?
I did, yes.
And were you able to arrange it using the tools that you use in a way that looks like you might see it on your phone?
Yeah, I tried to prepare it in a report, which would be easy for any viewer to understand based on their own usage of text messaging.
So showing you page 19 of your report. What we have here is an enlarged version of what you might see on your phone, correct?
Correct.
And so is this in blue, is this Lindsay's phone?
It is. The messages in blue on the right would be outgoing. The messages in gray on the left would be incoming.
And so we have a photo being sent out from Lindsay's phone to her mother, and then a reply coming back, and that pattern goes on and on, correct?
Correct.
And then looking at page 22, you were able to do the same in terms of her contact with Patrick Clancy that day, correct?
I did, yes.
And so in gray, we have Patrick Clancy sending a message to Lindsay Clancy, and in blue is the response, correct?
Correct.
Looks like a bunch of photo albums sitting on defense desk.
Were you, excuse me, were you also able to look at the phone calls that occurred either incoming or outgoing to the defendant's phone on January 24th, 2023?
I did, yes.
And looking at page 27 and 28 of your report, first on page 27, just looking closely at the phone. Here in the report, it says 2024. Is that a typo? Is that supposed to be 2023?
That's meant to be 2023, yes, I apologize.
Okay. And so what we see here, can you just tell us what these columns are?
Yeah, the start time of the call, typically when it is answered by the recipient, the end time when the call's ended. The metadata is information including who the call was to or from, how long the call lasted, and then the reason that the call disconnected, and then a record ID. So if you had the database, you could go in and find this record based on the ID number.
And looking at page 28, this is the continuation of that table regarding the phone calls, is that correct?
Correct.
And so what we're seeing here is at 17:33, which would be 5:33 p.m., there's an incoming call from Patrick to Lindsay's phone, is that correct?
Correct.
And it says duration 8 seconds, does that, I'm sorry, 0 seconds. Does that mean it was not answered?
In this case, it was an unanswered call.
And then at 5:34 p.m., roughly a minute later, there's an outgoing call from Lindsay's phone to Patrick's, correct?
Correct.
And that call was approximately 14 seconds?
Correct.
And then at 6:09 p.m., another incoming call from Patrick to Lindsay that went unanswered?
That's correct.
Again, how did she call him in the middle of a psychosis while killing her children?
Now, you also, in a section you call media, you have some photographs that were taken from the phone with some metadata included, correct?
Correct.
What is metadata?
Metadata is information about that photograph. It could be the device that captured it, the time that it was captured, the location, information about the lens, the lighting, etc.
And so looking at page 29 of your report, just for an example, what we have here are 3 photographs, correct?
Correct.
And the metadata for the first one shows captured at South Shore Medical Center, is that correct?
Correct.
How were you able to determine that's where that photograph was taken?
The metadata of the photo included the latitude and longitude where the image was captured. I took that latitude and longitude and looked on Google Maps to see a physical address. In this case, it came down to the South Shore Medical Center.
And then the third photo here, that shows captured at the home address on Summer Street, is that correct?
Correct.
And then you looked at device usage. What is device usage?
Device usage would relate to how the user is operating the device. So when they have it unlocked, locked, what applications being used at any particular time. Essentially anything which is not a message or a phone call or results in additional data like that.
How many?
Looking at page 32 of your report, in that device usage log, it shows that the last time the device usage was logged was at 5:13 p.m., correct?
So this table relates just to the locking and the unlocking of the device. So the last time the device was unlocked was at 17:13:16. The device was locked again around 2 minutes later at 17:15:12, and the device was not unlocked again.
And so the device was not unlocked again after 5:16 p.m., but we have a phone call being made at 5:34 p.m. How does that happen?
There is a setting within iPhones that allow you to use a locked device to call back numbers for missed calls. So in this case, Lindsay had the missed phone call that would have shown on screen as a notification as a missed call. And without unlocking the device, you're able to call that person back.
Oh, okay.
So you just press on the icon that shows up, you have a missed call, you press on that, and you can call the person back without unlocking the phone?
Correct.
And then she unlocked the phone for something?
And then what is application focus?
Application focus is literally the application which is visible on screen at any given time.
And at 4:13 p.m., 16:13, on January 24th, you've highlighted it in green here. What are we seeing there?
At 16:13:23 until 16:14:50, the Apple Maps application was being used, visible on screen.
So that's to figure out how far he had to go?
Is it then used again at 5:13 and 5:14 p.m.? Or is that a different application?
So at 5:13 until 5:14, it was mobile Safari. So the mobile version of Safari, the internet browser, was on screen. And at 17:14:47 until 17:15:08, it was the mobile SMS or messaging application, which was on screen.
So do you just look at the part that's in parentheses to see what application was open or being used at the time?
Correct. What application was on screen at the time?
So for example, where it says 17:34, which would be 5:34 p.m., and in parentheses is in-call service, does that represent a phone call?
It does. That's the screen that indicates you're in a phone call.
And staying with the same page, page 34, you've made some notes here. Let's go out a little bit. Regarding Apple Maps, Safari, and messaging. So can you just explain what you pulled from the data for Apple Maps?
Yeah, Apple Maps was used to plan a route from the user's current location the home address, to a restaurant called 3V.
And that was at 4:13 p.m.?
It was.
And then in terms of Safari, you have the last unlock at 5:13 p.m.?
Yes, so the last unlock of the device was used for the purposes of viewing Safari, where PDLX was searched using Google.
And then in terms of messaging, what did you pull from the data there?
At the same time, or in that same device usage, so the device was unlocked, Safari was used to search PDLX, and then the messaging application was opened to send a message to Patrick saying PDLX liquid stool softener.
Oh,
And that was at 5:15 p.m.?
It was.
And then did you create a timeline combining all the data that we've talked about into one timeline?
I did, yes.
so she didn't have to unlock the phone after she talked to Patrick. Okay, I see what he's doing.
I'm going to the last page of your report, page 43. Is this the last page of the timeline?
It is, yes.
And in that page, can you explain what we're seeing here?
Yes, so the very first column is the timestamp. The next few columns, which show typically colored, is related to the activity, which will become a little bit clearer in a moment. The row or the column in the center explains what the record is. So if, for example, we look at the 17-13-16 record, we can see a U, which means the device was unlocked in pink. That unlock event lasted until 17-15-12. So hence that entire column is in pink and shows the relevant lock event.
So here we have 5:13 device unlock,
Yes,
5:15 device lock, and there's this column connecting them, correct?
correct. And then any activity that happened during that unlock time is then shown within the rows between. So again, we see Safari open at 17-13-16. Safari was closed at 17-14-47. Messaging was opened at 17-14-47. While messages were open, there was an outgoing message sent for PDLX. Then messaging was closed. Messaging was opened again, and messaging was closed prior to the device locking. So everything in the colored columns tries to show all of the events that happened at the same time or during that parent's event.
And what we have here at 5:33 p.m., we have the flight climb started, is that correct?
Correct.
And flight climb ended at 5:38, so
Yes.
that line again connecting them?
Correct. So 2 flight climbs occurred during that time period.
And in between when the flight climb started and the flight climb ended, you have the 2 calls, the incoming call that was missed from Patrick and then the outgoing call to Patrick, correct?
Correct.
So the first flight
Wow.
climbed had already been started. Someone had already started climbing up a flight of stairs when that first unanswered call happened, correct?
So flight climb started is how it's listed within the database and within the software. But it actually, the flight climb time is when the flight climb has been recognized by the device as the device has already climbed up those stairs. So even though it says flight climb started, that's technically the time that the flight climb or the first flight climb had ended.
And
So where it says 5:33, I'm sorry, 5:33,
So she'd already
34 flight
climbed
climb
stairs.
started, that actually indicates the person has gone up that first flight of stairs already.
Yes, that indicates the phone has now realized I'm 3 meters higher than I was the last time I checked. Therefore, a flight climb has already been completed at that point.
And then the calls happen, and then the phone realizes at 5:38 that another flight has been climbed.
Correct.
wow, so she already killed the kids by the time he called the first. Or strangled them, started to strangle them. Holy crap.
I would move to submit the report as the next exhibit.
No objection. All right, that report may be admitted.
I have nothing further.
All right. All right, so members of the jury, remember I said it might be a little stop and start here today. This is one of those stops. All right, so we're gonna take a short break and then we'll come right back and return for the cross-examination of this witness. Okay?
All rise, please, for your attention.
Why?
Jurors, back to the quorum. This court's in session.
All right, so the court will be in a short recess at this time. Thanks.
Court, all rise.
Why? That's very odd. I wonder if he wants to. Oh, I wonder if she wants to bring in a rebuttal witness or the other witness for something. But he wanted to bring in some other witness, the 3 witnesses. So now they want to bring in a different witness and they're going to voir dire that witness. But they would do it on here. I don't know. It's very odd though. It's crazy the timeline on her watch or her phone. That means she already came up from the basement when he called. She missed that call. And he said on his own testimony that when she called him back, she sounded like she was in the middle of something, out of breath, all that stuff, which would make sense because then she had already strangled the kids. So then she went to the kitchen, and then this is all opinion because nobody was there but her. So then she probably went to the kitchen, got her knife, and called him back, I would imagine then, but answered totally normal with her or with him. So answered questions about the PDLX, where it was at, what aisle it was in. And how do you do that in a psychosis? And then climb the stairs to the master bedroom. Then she takes off her watch, puts it in the master bedroom dresser drawer or the side table. And that's when she slits her wrist and stands in front of the mirror looking at herself, which is why the droplets were all on top of each other. Oh, and slits her neck, but it's all superficial. And then moves the bed. I don't know. I don't know how you do all that in a psychosis. Which still leads me to my first theory is that the reason she tied the bands, or the exercise bands, is that she had to tie them and leave them laying there. Well, and the one allegedly hanging there, because the one police officer said there was a child hanging in the basement. So the two she laid on the floor, and the one hanging, which was the infant, right? I'd like to see what her heart rate was during that point. I wish they'd have showed more of the heart rate on the 24th. Which still also, the whole thing of, because she still had to go upstairs, take all those pills, put it in the thing, crush them up in the thing, unless she did that the night before. But still, that doesn't match with the toxicology where her levels weren't overdose levels. They were normal, what you would see somebody taking the pills. Not even high, they were low. A lot of them were low, which then leads somebody to believe. And now, of course, this is all like, speculation, that she dumped them out and didn't take them. It just made it look like that's what she was trying to do, because toxicology came back that they were low. There was only one that was even remotely high, or not even high, but above normal levels. No, I think it all still hinges on the fact that she called him back. How does somebody call somebody back on him during a psychosis and have a normal conversation? I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Wonder how long this is gonna take. I wish they gave a time limit on it. So here we have late Hayden, and I can't pronounce her last name, said she never stopped choosing her daughter after giving ex full custody. So Hayden insisted she never stopped choosing her daughter after granting her ex, Wildemer, full custody following her postpartum depression battle. The actress died on Sunday night, age 36, with police saying there were no signs of foul play. In 2018, following her split from fiancé Wildemer, 50, Hayden announced she had made the difficult decision to sign full custody of her daughter, Kaya, to her ex. Kaya then moved to his native Ukraine. The widely discussed decision came after Hayden fell into deep depression, which she said made her feel nothing and led her turning to wine and ultimately being sent to rehab for both depression and substance abuse. In her final interview in May, she spoke to Dear Mome about her choice, saying, "It wasn't a decision I made lightly, nor was it a decision I even wanted to make. I was going through a really challenging time in my life." She told Jay Shetty on Purpose podcast in May, "I have been the one who sought it out, who was saying, I desperately need help. I know this is going to look terrible, but I cannot live like this anymore." The idea that anybody would think that I would just give away my children and be okay with it is heartbreaking. It can't be further from the truth. It became this horrible cycle of years of battling depression and anxiety and alcoholism and substance abuse, and just me trying to find my way back. In her chat with Dear Mome about her daughter, saying, "I love my daughter and I'm so proud of the young woman she is becoming. I talk to her all the time and I feel so connected to her. She is like a mini me." Discussing the prospect of bringing her back, Hayden insisted that she would not want to take her away from her incredible life in Ukraine. She said, "By the time I finally got healthy, I felt like it would have been unfair of me too, and selfish of me to try to pull her out of the life that she had been creating." On Monday, it was announced that Hayden, best known for her role in Heroes of Nashville, has died at age 36, with police saying there was no signs of foul play. Detectives confirmed to the Daily Mail that they responded on Sunday afternoon to a 911 call, and acquaintance of Hayden describing her as unresponsive. Officers and paramedics headed to the apartment block in Greenville, South Carolina, where they tried to save Hayden's life, but she was pronounced dead at the scene. Police in the local coroner's office are probing the death, but said the preliminary investigation. Oh,
Guys, we ready for the jury? Yes. All right.
I'll finish reading that. But that is a mother who, instead of taking their children's life, decided that it was best to do the right thing. She was also in Remember the Titans with Denzel Washington. She was a little girl with the big blonde curls. But she didn't take her children's life, and if you listen to her, it was depression, anxiety, alcohol, substance abuse. She got help, but she saved her child.
All right, please, your
She didn't take all three of her children's lives. She did the right thing. Again, in our darkest hours, we have agency.
back to session. You may be seated.
Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. All parties present.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Reddington?
Thank you, Your Honor. Morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Whiffin, just a couple of things. One of the takeaways or question that I had is that you were talking about, in reference to the Apple Health data, fair to say that there's an issue as to the accuracy or reliability of the Apple Health data.
Find a mic, Reddington.
I've done research on it, yes.
Okay, and one of the things that you did is back about a year ago, June 28th of 2025, you did a blog article on Apple Health accuracy and reliability, and it talked about using a pitch, which I think is, you guys refer to like a football field.
It was a rugby field, but yes.
And then you had somebody put the watch in their right pocket, somebody with the left pocket, and then someone else held it in their hand, you measured it, and things of that nature, right?
Correct, it was 3 phones.
Some of the things were off a little bit, but basically you put that in your report and you were able to draw your conclusion as to the accuracy and reliability, as you say, of the Apple Health data, right?
Correct.
Now, if someone is wearing an Apple Watch, is that what records heart rate?
As the heart rate is on the watch, yes.
It is on the watch,
Yes.
okay. And the steps that the person takes, things of that nature, the movement, is that on the phone or would that be on the watch?
That's on both the watch and the phone.
Okay. Now, if you have an Apple Watch and you test it or you examine it, would you be able to determine what information was actually recorded by the watch while the person was wearing it?
Yes, the information that's recorded within the Apple Health database does specify whether the information comes from the watch, the phone, or from a different device.
Okay. And in this case, if I understand correctly, the Apple Watch stopped recording data at, is it 5:23?
It was around that time.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to give you your report. Feel free
I'm going to give you,
refresh your memory to look at it or
You
whatever
notice-
helps you out.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
I'm going to give you the dresser drawer.
I just
You
wanna
remember
get
they
the
didn't
times
find
down.
your watch in the dresser drawer?
I think you indicated that the watch stopped recording information at 5:23 p.m.
Yes, the last heart rate was 5:23:52.
52, okay. 5:23 and 52 seconds. And then I believe the phone and watch stopped recording at 5:38, was it?
The last usage of the, let me double check this. I believe the last usage of the phone to record flight climb data was at 5:38, yes.
All right, and after 5:38, it's pretty much blackout. There's no further information or recording, right?
Yes, not until like the phone was seized by police, I believe.
By the
But
police.
there's other activity, but appeared to be after the incident.
So the further activity would have been the following morning on the 25th of January, say around 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning?
I ended my analysis on the 24th.
Okay. Well, so 5:23 p.m., the watch stops recording information. 5:38 p.m., both the watch and the phone stopped recording any information until the police picked up the phone apparently the following day, right?
Again, there would have been activity later on, but it wasn't usage, it wasn't health data. It would have been things like incoming calls. If
Okay,
there
so
were any.
when you went through the stair climbing and talked about the steps that were taken, the distance that was taken, that stopped at 5:38 p.m., right?
Correct.
Now, you don't know, when I say you, I mean, there's a witness, but also the police, whoever was wearing the watch, for example, if Lindsay's wearing the watch or carrying the phone, after 5:38, you don't know what was happening at 5:39.
Correct.
You don't know what was happening at 5:40, 5:45, right?
Correct.
Right up till 5:58, 6 o'clock p.m., right?
Purely the data on the device.
So it could have been, the phone could have been put down, the watch could have been put down,
Somebody else.
battery died, whatever those issues could be, and the person would still be going down the stairs, going up the stairs, going in the backyard, doing push-ups, whatever.
Correct.
You just don't know, right?
Yes.
One of the things, you're familiar with the concept of location data, right?
Correct.
And location data, one of the things you looked at or you're aware of would be from Lindsay's phone on August 23rd of 2022. Is that correct?
Apologies, August 23rd, 2022.
Yeah.
I didn't go back
Okay.
anywhere near that date.
You have tested and written blogs, though, on location information, right?
Correct.
You actually testified in the case of Commonwealth versus Victor Arrington in Suffolk Superior Court in Boston in support of the accuracy of this particular artifact or information, right?
Correct.
So you're a true believer that the phone does in fact record accurately significant locations on the iPhone, right?
It certainly can, yes.
All right. And are you aware, or if I was to approach you in your expertise,
He gets so angry that they want to even look at his stuff. Relevant? This case?
you were talking earlier about latitude, longitude, things of that nature, right?
Yes.
Okay. So just to get familiar with, for example, significant location visits on Lindsay's phone, August 23rd, 2022 at 9:34. Do you know what that says or what that means?
The created time
Yeah.
of 9:34. That'd be when the device decided that the device had visited this location enough to consider it a visit.
Okay. Do you know what that location is? If I suggest to you it's a doctor's office, would you be aware of that?
I don't recognize it from the coordinates.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, this is the doctor's office. So, you know, he's arguing about.
This here you're familiar with too as well, right?
So she
The,
couldn't have looked up the suicide,
geo data with the latitude and the longitude.
the bridge
And
suicide.
you're familiar with the fact that you can take the metadata off of the information on the cell phone, one of which would be latitude and longitude. You'd be able to determine, for example, that this would be the Lindsay Clancy home, correct?
Yes, correct.
You've seen this before, right?
It rings a bell, yes.
Okay, I'd offer this.
Can you object?
No objections.
Okay, that may be admitted.
Thank you.
Because, you know, can't have two devices, can't have her phone.
All right, thank you.
Now,
It's just unheard of.
you have your report in front of you, right?
Yes.
And that's captioned Digital Forensic Report, and it's in evidence, so the jurors are going to be able to review it in its entirety, right?
Yes.
If I could direct your attention to page 11, I believe. Yeah, page 11. Okay.
Yes.
And just so the jurors are able to acclimate themselves to it, that would be this item here that you went through with the district attorney, right? As far as the searches, Google searches,
I have a different page 11.
different page?
That looks like this page 12.
Oh, okay. Well, let me approach you with what is your digital forensic report number 1?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Is this the same?
So this is a revision.
A revision?
The revision submitted in February that just had a different record highlighted.
Yeah, okay, so basically there's no big deal difference, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we can go by, you have the revised and I have the old.
You got the, I got the old.
Can you look at January 10th on the Google search, for example?
I can.
You have it?
Yes, sir.
So looking at January 10th of 2023, just read along with me, and the jurors again would be able to look at this in the jury room. Prescription information at, it says 1455. What does that mean? 12:14 in the morning?
14 a.m., yes.
All right. And then 1911, which would be at 7:11 in the morning?
7:11 p.m.
Oh, PM, okay. Trazodone and Benadryl goes on about an hour later. Trazodone headache, Google search goes on. Trazodone and ibuprofen goes on. Trazodone and Tylenol goes on to 2032, which would be 8:32 p.m. Trazodone and Tylenol interactions, right?
Correct.
Fair to say that these are things that Lindsay Googled on her cell phone. That's what this document refers to, right?
Somebody used this cell phone to Google it, yes.
Oh, you don't know who was actually using it, but this is
Exactly.
Lindsay's cell phone.
Yes.
You're aware of that. If we jump ahead, looking at all of these various Google searches, follow with me on, let's say, randomly, let's say, page 13, 1948, which would be 17:48 p.m., I guess. You with me on that?
Yes, 1948?
Yeah.
Yes,
How quickly does Wellbutrin work for depression? That's what was Googled, right?
correct.
Followed by Lamictal for depression, Elavil for depression, how to tell if you're sleep deprived, ketamine for suicidal ideation, right?
Correct.
These are all searches that were done on Lindsay's cell phone. On that particular date, chronologically, would have been the 12th of January, right?
Correct.
Now, without boring everybody, it goes on and on and on with searches along those lines. Suicidal ideation, drugs, trazodone, mixtures, things of that nature, right?
It does.
Page 17, if you have it, would be the Apple Note counsel asked you about.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if I suggest to you, sir, that this is the Apple Note, I believe a previous witness may have read this to the jury, so they will have this in the room to read. But basically, this is the note that says, I was the healthiest, happiest mom. I worked out every morning, meditated, took care of myself, and basically my life has turned to crap, right?
Correct.
So what was
Basically,
modified?
my life is turned to crap.
If you know, because counsel asked you if there was modifications and things of that nature, and I'm just asking if you know, what was modified in it?
Exactly at the moment, I don't have all of that in front of me. It's possible to see snippets going back over time. I do recall
Okay,
on the 22nd of December when this was created, it started with the same sentence.
yep,
And there was a few essentially spell check or spelling differences
okay,
as time went on. But as much as you can recover from the earlier versions of the note, it's a snippet. It's essentially two sentences, and the rest of it is it's essentially the same note.
okay, thank you, sir. Going forward onto page 18, page 19, and 20, would you agree with me that, well, actually, in 21, they basically contain photographs that were sent from Lindsay's phone to, it looks like Patrick's phone. Would you agree with that?
I believe the first few pages are sent to Mommy.
Okay. And this basically is the, there we go. This is the snowman in the backyard being made, right?
Correct.
And then Lindsay's phone is sending the blue.
Yes, the
and
blue
gray
messages
would
are
be
outgoing.
what? A response?
Yes.
And can you tell me what the response is?
The one on screen at the moment is the response sent from Mommy to Lindsay's phone saying that's a big roll of snow. I was wondering if you got enough for the kids to play in, and it's a pretty nice day too. Gives them something to do on a day without school.
Okay. And then your report then goes on with additional photographs of the snowmen,
Why are we rehashing exactly what the,
the box of Cheerios apparently. And then there's a photograph of a young boy appearing to be very exuberant with his arms up in the air. And then there's the Lindsay phone responds with a picture of a little girl with a mask on, right?
Correct. And this is a conversation with Patrick.
Patrick, okay, so are you able to tell what Patrick said, if anything, when he sent the picture of the little boy with his arms up in the air?
So at the very top of that message above the photograph, it says, got himself dressed. And that would be the message that was sent alongside the photograph.
Okay, and then what was her response?
Initially, it was just the photograph.
Did she respond any further in your report or your research?
Sorry?
Did you see any response in your research of the phone?
I don't remember seeing any response.
All right, can you look at page 22?
Yes.
Okay, and this would be on January 24th, 2023, and it looks, what time is that? 8:19 in the morning?
What is this movie?
Yes.
Okay, so if I suggest to you, Sarah, you can even look in your report. This is in the same thread with the little girl making the snowman and the text about, it looks like a nice day, hoping you got snow, things of that nature. And there was a reference by the mother or mommy to get the hot chocolate ready, things of that nature, right?
The message at 8:19 a.m. that says cutie was sent by Patrick in
Okay.
a different thread to the snowman photographs.
Okay, but I'm asking you about the one that's underneath the snowman and the mummy text. The last commentary is get the hot chocolate ready.
Oh, yes, that's the one
Okay.
from...
And that's from the mother, apparently, right?
Correct.
Or someone that is in the phone as mummy, right?
And that was at 11:33 a.m.
Now, if you look on page 22, we can get to what you were talking about. It looks like January 24th at 8:19 in the morning, cell phone number 781-375-8564. And what does that say?
Cutie.
And that, so just tell us, so is that Patrick's phone?
Yes, that would be the phone stored as Patrick sending a message to Lindsay's phone.
And how did Lindsay respond, or how did her phone respond?
It appears that Lindsay reacted to an image with the love emoji.
Like a little hat thing?
Yes.
And then what did Patrick say?
Patrick asked, how's it going?
What did she say?
Good.
And then did she say anything further?
Yet she also responded, okay, her urine looked good, so nothing going wrong with her kidneys. A few.
So that she indicates that her urine looked good, nothing going on with her kidneys, and then phew, like whew, you know, something like that, right?
That's how I read it.
P-H-E-W?
Yeah. Yes.
And then he said good, right?
Yes.
And then as you go forward, there's more pictures of the kids with the snowman, making the snowman. Patrick then says to her at 11, looks like 11:29, am I reading that right, in the morning?
11:29.
What does he say to her?
You're a good mama.
And does she respond?
She responds with an emoji, which is the face covered in hearts.
The face with the hearts? And then they go back and forth with each other up until getting the menu and asking what you want for takeout and things of that nature, right?
Correct.
Page 25, just in case you were looking. All right. Can you look at page 28 for me?
This is so weird
And
that we're rehashing.
Page 29, I can hold them up. Basically, they basically are just a continuation of photographs, little thumbnails of the kids doing snowman and sitting in the doctor's office, right?
Correct.
Okay.
What are you trying to do?
One of the things that you did is that you actually performed a comprehensive search. Is that a full focus extraction? Is that what you call it?
Full file system extraction.
Okay. And you did that for the phone belonging to Lindsay Clancy, right?
Correct.
That would be what you refer to as your appendix?
The appendix 1 of the Lindsay Clancy phone is 1,300 and some web search visits.
Okay. So I'm going to hand you what says report number 1, iPhone belonging to Lindsay Clancy, and ask if you can recognize that.
Yes, this appears to be the just the web history from Lindsay's phone.
Okay, so that's pretty much if anybody cares to look at it, that's the entire web history, right?
Correct.
All right, I'd offer this, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, that may be admitted.
268.
Then, Mr. Whiffin, you also have report number 4, which would be the digital report for Patrick Clancy's
I did.
computer. I'd offer that, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, that may be admitted as well.
269.
All right, thank
And
you.
then finally, report number 5 says Surface Pro laptop belonging to Patrick Clancy.
Yes,
So this would be your search of his laptop as well, correct?
correct.
What off of this?
No objection.
All right, that may be admitted.
Okay. And there's gonna be some other ones with information. It's gonna take them 10 days.
Approaching you with an item, sir, I'm just going to. Well, I'm just going to answer it. I'm not going to do it. No problem. This says extraction report, Apple iPhone. You recognize that?
Yes, I didn't create it, but I recognize the report.
What's your mic?
So that is a Cellebrite report of the extraction of Lindsay's phone, correct? Yeah, you can put whatever you want, yeah, of course.
Yes, this is a report generated by physical analyzer, a Cellebrite tool of the device.
Okay. Now, if you look at the report, for example, just randomly on page, let's say, 9, bottom line, it says web history. I just grabbed that random. January 24th, 23, correct?
Yes.
And then you go to the right, and it says Lindsay's iPhone mobile library.
Yes.
Okay. And then it has the time that it was recorded, right?
Yes.
And what time would that be on that date, which is January 24th?
It would be 9:35 local time in the morning.
So if you jump ahead to January 25, 2023, let's say, is that 7 o'clock in the morning?
Yes.
Okay. And that says, what is it measuring at 7 o'clock in the morning on January 25?
So this is for the hour of health data. So it's been aggregated and it shows that between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. There was 47 meters traveled.
Okay. And then it goes on and it talks about, again, 7 o'clock in some seconds, it talks about 134 distance traveled.
Yes.
Okay. And for example, January 25 at 8 o'clock in the morning, it talks about distance traveled, steps counted, and distance would be 47
Yes.
meters or feet.
Meters.
Okay. So is that information that is coming off of the cell phone, the Apple Watch, or what?
Cell phone.
That's coming from the watch and the phone and being displayed
Right,
as
so-
one amount of
Hold on.
information.
It's coming from the watch, right?
The way that the data is presented there, it's coming from the watch or the phone.
Okay. And the data's coming from Cellebrite, right?
Correct.
Cellebrite is
I don't know. He's gonna be like, do you know?
God's gift to cell phone searches, right?
Or George?
I like to think so.
I mean, you work with them and you're also a guy that created all of this stuff. Pretty much, right?
I've created some other tools, yes.
If I tell you, sir, that January 25 at 8 o'clock in the morning, Lindsay Clancy was in a coma, laying in a bed with tubes coming out of her body and certainly not wearing her Apple Watch. How did that happen?
Based purely on the report there, I'd suggest the data came from the phone rather than the watch.
As I just told you about the watch. Did you ever look at this watch?
No, we can't actually pull data directly from the watch. We pull it from the
How
phone.
do you look at a watch?
We extract the data from the phone, which is synchronized to the from the watch to the phone.
Okay, so I'm handing you, is that an Apple Watch?
Georgia.
It appears to be, yes.
Okay. And if I suggest to you that this was found a number of days later in Lindsay's bedroom in a drawer that the police never seized, have you ever seen this before?
I've never seen this before, no.
How long have you been working on this case for the government?
I started looking at this case in November last year.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have, Judge.
But the phone was seized and it's moving.
All right, redirect.
Thank you. Sir, from the documents that defense counsel just showed you, the activity on January 25th, was it your testimony that it could have been from the watch or the phone?
It could have been either device.
But what he showed you, did that have enough data on it to tell you specifically whether it was from the watch or the phone?
No, I'd need to take a look at the database itself and see where that information came from.
And you were saying that you cannot pull data from the watch itself, is that correct?
Correct. We don't extract the memory from the watch itself. We extract data from the phone, which is synchronized to the watch. So we ultimately get the watch data from the phone.
And why is it that you don't pull it from the watch itself?
Apple's proprietary connections, the encryption that they use on the device complicates extraction. And essentially, considering we get everything from the watch via the phone, it's just additional work required to pull data from the watch, which would just be a duplicate of what we already have.
And you said that the watch syncs itself to the phone, relaying all data that it's collecting to the phone, correct?
Correct.
And Lindsay's watch was synced to Lindsay's phone, correct?
It was.
And if you were able to look at the data from the dates defense counsel mentioned from the extraction itself, you would be able to tell whether the January 25th data was coming from the watch or the phone, correct?
I would, yes.
But you can't from what he showed you, correct?
From the printout, no. I'd need the actual data.
And if on January 25th, the police have the watch, the phone, and they're bringing it to an evidence room, and then they're bringing it to storage room, is that going to show steps and distance traveled?
Yeah, whenever the device is turned on, or whenever the phone is turned on, it will consistently record steps walked regardless of who's carrying it. It will consistently record flights climbed regardless of who's carrying it.
And so if the watch is turned off in a drawer somewhere, the phone would be what's relaying, or not relaying, but the phone would be what's recording the distance traveled and the steps taken, not the watch, correct?
That's the presumption, yeah. If the watch is turned off, it's not doing anything, any data would be from the phone.
And earlier, defense counsel just put in some exhibits of your indexes for all the data that you looked at for the phone and the computers, correct?
Correct.
And those indexes, do they contain everything that was on the phone and everything that was on each computer that could be pulled from the phone or the computer?
No, they were focused reports or focused searches. So for my reports, they were focused to essentially the internet history on those devices. The large Cellebrite report, again, I don't know who created that. I don't know what options were selected by that user, but there will be data on the device which is not covered in that report by virtue of that's how decoding works.
And on the defense counsel asked you about the flights climbed and how the last reading was at 5:38 p.m., correct?
Correct.
The last incoming phone call that you registered on your charts was the 6:09 p.m. phone call from Patrick to Lindsay that she did not answer, correct?
Correct.
From 5:38 p.m. to 6:09 p.m., were there any other flights climbed showing from either the watch or the phone?
Don't believe there was, no.
And Your Honor, we'd move to submit the full extraction as the next exhibit. It's being copied now, so we just put a disc envelope in its place.
Yeah, no objection.
All right, that may be admitted.
If I may, Your Honor. So you make reference to 5:38 for her question that there's no flights climbed or recorded or anything up until 6 o'clock, right? You just answered that question.
Correct.
That's because the phone was either dead, off. We already went through that. She could have been walking all over the house, the yard, anywhere, right?
Yeah, the phone did not detect anything. I don't know why the phone didn't detect anything, whether it was
So your answer is you
set
don't know
down.
what, I don't mean to be rude. Your answer is you don't know why, right?
Exactly. I don't know why it wouldn't
Okay.
record.
And you did not report at all on the steps and distances, did you?
I didn't know.
Okay, thank you.
Anything on that, Como?
No.
All right, thank you, sir. You may sit down. Thank you.
They showed it on the bed. There's a photo of it on the bed and evidence. The hell is that?
Commonwealth Rests. Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. There are some exhibits. I'm sick. I believe they're by agreement.
Yeah, they were, I agree.
All right,
And then we would.
all right.
Throw 'em in there.
We have the two Sperry Hospital records, 2 discs.
Did she say the state rest?
272A, B. Mass General Institute of Health Professions transcript. For the PI transcript.
Who was that?
For the PI transcript.
This should be interesting.
And then employment records from Mass
How many
General.
days we'll get a defense? Wonder who his first witness will be. Wonder if it'll be her.
We rest.
All right, and with that, the Commonwealth rests.
Yeah, they did.
All
Wow.
right, so members of the jury, as you heard from Terry Sprague, the Commonwealth has rested. All right, so at this point, I've got to address some matters with the attorneys. So I'm going to, it's another one of those stops. We're going to take a stop at this point. Have you go back to the jury room. We'll address a few things with the attorneys, and then we'll bring you right back in.
Wow.
All right, please, jury.
A lot of stuff to start. He wasn't wrong. I wonder if she's gonna testify. I mean, it'd be a big mistake, but. What is she crying for now?
Jurors have exited the courtroom. This court's in session. Please be seated.
Before we do the motion for required finding, Your Honor, is this a good time to take a morning break?
Sure, do you want to take a short break?
Looking something up, that's all. I
All right.
apologize.
So the court will be in a short recess, and we'll come back without the jury. We'll address the motion, and then we'll kind of go from there. Okay, thank you.
Court, all rise.
Well, state's rested, so we'll see who his first witness is. Well, we'll see the motion first for his 3 people. So we know he's got 3 witnesses that he wants to bring on. See which ones the judges allow, or the judge allows. And then as fast as he wants to get through this, I wonder if we're actually gonna. Well, she's gonna. I know she's gonna have a rebuttal witness because she said that in the motion last week. Or the state's gonna. I say she, but the state's gonna have a rebuttal witness. I don't know. So far, it's going to be hard to prove that. He wants to bring on 3 doctors, but the one can't be a toxicologist. He's not qualified. The other one's a psychiatrist too. I mean, they're all 3 psychiatrists. That's gonna be hard to prove how she was in the middle of psychosis and made a phone call. And it- I really feel like I feel like Reddington was doing more of a civil trial than he was a criminal trial. The- His defense of these witnesses was just more rehashing of what the defendants or what the prosecutors did. Wasn't really asking real valid questions, and he never impeached anybody on the stand. There wasn't any real. Just weird. It's so weird. Huh? Right. Well, there wasn't any gotcha. All they did was rehash everything that the prosecutor said. It was weird. I mean, all I kept doing was that she was a good mom. Well, nobody claimed that she wasn't a good mom. Well, yeah, I mean, at the end, she was, yeah, at the end, she was a bad mom. I mean, right? She was a good mom, right up until the point she killed her kids. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. No one claimed that she was a bad mom, that she did any harm to her children. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one claimed that. Not even the prosecutors claimed that anyone claimed that she was a bad mom. I think that she was just overwhelmed. She was going through some stuff, all right. I also believe that she didn't have any help. Like, Patrick was so disassociated from his own life, which is weird. He didn't even know anything that she had. Like, he looked at the notebook that she wrote between her and the nanny, and he's like, yeah, it looks like her handwriting, I guess. Hello. Like, how do you have a nanny and don't even know? Oh, like you would know if I wrote a note. You would go to look at the notebook and be like, yeah, that's her handwriting. He's like, yeah, it kind of looks like it, I guess. But I mean, like, he was, like, his answers.
Most people may not pay attention to their spouses.
But, well, I would know.
Not everybody's looking for forensics every time they talk to their spouse.
Well, I know, but like his answers were just like so like weird. Like, in my opinion, they were just weird. Like, he didn't know her daily activities. He didn't know he worked from home. You know what I mean? He didn't know anything. And then he lied. He lied on the stand, which is weird too. He said that the nanny was fired because she needed more hours. When the nanny got on the stand, she said that Lindsay wasn't going back to work, and she told her, if you're not going back to work and you don't need it anymore, could you let me know? And so they went for a walk, and when they came back, they just said, yeah, we're not going to need you anymore, which is a contradiction. I would have impeached him on the stand. But they didn't know because the nanny came in after Patrick. Which then I would have recalled him on the stand and said, is this what happened? Because that's an impeachable comment. He made it sound like the nanny quit because she needed more hours. You know what I mean? There's just something sketchy about him. Also, too, when they said about, she said she couldn't sleep, he was like, they asked him, you know, well, was she sleeping? He's like, well, I don't know, I was sleeping. I mean, you know, when I don't sleep, we don't have kids. I think you would know if we had kids. I don't know. It's just weird. Like to not know anything about your own life that's going on in your own home. Of course, she did keep a tight ship. I mean, like down to the minute. Like one of the kids had to be put down to sleep at like 8:36. Put down to sleep, you know. They had to be laid down to sleep. I don't know how to say it. I don't have kids. I don't know. Had to go to sleep. Yeah. Had to go to sleep at like 8:36. Like 8:36. That was like written down on the paper. I know. I was like, literally like 8:36. And like, then it, you know, got up at, you know, like in 15 minutes, do this, do that. Like I'd have been like, that's a schedule, man. But I don't have kids, so maybe that's how you do it. I don't know. I mean, the nanny didn't seem think it was a problem, but I'd have been like, but she was very concerned. And maybe new mothers are concerned. I mean, the child was only, at the time, 5, 6 months old when she was writing all that, you know. I mean, when she killed the kid, it was only 8 months. So I don't know, maybe. But the whole thing is like, also the thing that bothers me is that she went to a psych evaluation, like a mental institution thing to help her with postpartum depression, and she only stayed for 5 days. If you truly wanted to get help, you truly wanted to get better, all that stuff, you would have stayed longer. Her whole reasoning for leaving was because her daughter's birthday was the next day. Okay, so say you don't want to be there for, or say you want to be there for your daughter for her birthday because she's turning 5, all this stuff, and you don't want her to not see you for her birthday, right? Well, it wasn't mandatory. You signed yourself in, you could sign yourself out. You know, against the recommendations of the doctors, they would have preferred that you stayed and did all this stuff. But they were like, okay, well, you can do this, you know, in inpatient, outpatient crap, right? But you could have went back the day after her birthday. If you truly wanted the help that you're claiming now in this trial, right? You could have said, I didn't get enough time. I need to go back. I need whatever help. The therapy wasn't good enough. You know what I mean? Or I didn't have enough time. I need more therapy, I need more inpatient, more whatever. Even if you went for, like the one doctor was explaining, there's daily treatment where you're there during the day and you go home at night. You go back during the day, you go home at night, whatever. I've never been to a mental institution, so I don't know how that works, if it even is effective, or if you just stay there for a couple weeks and like try to figure your shit out. You know what I mean? If she truly wanted the help and was truly as upset as what she claims to be, and not feeling all this and having the anxiety and all this stuff, why didn't, her parents came for Christmas and Thanksgiving and all this stuff. Why didn't she call them back and say, can you, or why were they, when they were there for Christmas? Because this happened on the 24th of January. Why didn't she say, hey, I need to really check myself in, get this help that I need. Can you watch the kids, or help Patrick watch the kids, do this stuff?
I mean, at that point, did she really want help?
Well, that's what I'm saying. And
Because, I mean, now you can go on, you're in court, oh yeah, I wanted help, blah, 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 but a lot of people have a hard time admitting they need help.
that's she's seen
And,
5
she's
doctors.
supposed to be, a strong mother, which all families are looking. And maybe she thought at some point she could handle, but then at other points she had bad days.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is like, she claims that, she really wanted the help. She was, I mean, when you start looking at ketamine for help, I mean, like, that's, I don't know, to me, that's like crazy. But she couldn't get to sleep. She's like telling her doctor she's having intrusive thoughts and hopelessness and has no feeling. Like, if you listen to what the doctors are saying, all this stuff, she called suicide hotline twice. She did all this stuff. Well, then at that point, then you check yourself in, or like if you go to 2 hospitals and check yourself in voluntarily, well, then you stay until you get the help that you need, right? What led you to killing your kids? Why did this is my question. Why did the kids have to die? At what point does the children have to die? Like, I understand your hopelessness, your whatever fears, I can't live this way anymore, I'm not getting the help I need, whatever that thought. But why do the innocent children have to die?
I think, because remember my friend Kyle killed his kids, his wife,
right.
and himself. I think you get to a point where you think that your family is not going to be okay without you. Like, my kids really need me, they can't live without me here, and then something snaps where, well, I'll kill the kids later without me.
Okay, but she didn't kill Patrick. She sent,
Didn't she try though?
no, she sent him to go get food, to get
Well, the
Marilac.
husband, yeah, but didn't one of the kids survive?
No, they're all 3 dead.
When we watched that thing, or was that a different case where one of the kids survived?
That's this other lady where she tried to kill all 3 of her kids by slitting their throat, and the
Right,
1-year-old
okay,
lived.
all right, I'm confused.
Yeah.
I mean, there's gotta be something that snaps, man, because when in school, Kyle was a good dude,
Yeah.
but you think life gets to some people, I think it really misconstrues your thoughts, to where you just think your kids can't survive without you, so you.
Well, she said, okay, so she said she heard a voice, and it said, if you don't do it now, you'll never have the opportunity. That's what she's claiming in this lawsuit, or in this trial. Don't do it now, you'll never have the opportunity. So, opportunity for what?
At that point, yeah, I think it was to take her own life, and I think she probably took the kids along. I mean, I'm just giving you.
No, yeah, I know you're giving me the devil's advocate. Because I don't understand it. I don't understand how a mother could.
I mean, I don't understand it either. But
Yeah,
I'm just looking at it from a different
yeah.
perspective.
Cause like for me, I just like, it's like that dad that he got caught cheating on his wife, the dude who works for the American Heart Association. He got caught cheating on his wife for like the second time or third time or whatever. And she said, if you do it again, I'm just leaving, right? He has 6 children with her. 4 kids of their own and 2 they adopted or something like that, or 5 kids and 1 they adopted, whatever the case may be. But they have 6 children total. And she found out that he cheated again. And so what's he do? He kills her, kills their 6 children, tries to set the house on fire, doesn't really go as planned, whatever. And so then he kills himself. And I don't understand the whole killing of the children. Like, I don't understand for me, killing the innocents, which for me is children and animals. Or even your spouse, like, why are you, but for me too, on this case, what is you have forethought to send him to a place you've only been 3 times, to go get medication for your daughter who's not going to be alive. And then to a certain extended area, right? And then you do all this while he's gone. So he comes back and this is the crazy thing. She killed them in the basement where his office is. And one of the children killed literally in his office. That to me is crazy. You know what I mean? Not anywhere else in the whole house, but in the basement and in one in his office. Almost like a revenge thing. You know what I mean?
I think it's kind of like the other stuff I tell you, you're looking at it with a normal mind. You're trying to figure out abnormal things.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's the truth. I mean, nobody knows because she was the only one that was there. I guess it's just hard for me to fathom that somebody would do it,
It's hard to say what happened because somebody reaches their breaking point.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever done anything where you just absolutely lose your shit for a minute? And then you kind of look back on what the fuck? I know not killing somebody.
Right. I was like,
But I'm saying, just coming out of the pocket.
right.
You know? Everybody has just done something totally stupid, and in a normal period of time, they wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just extreme.
Yeah, but I've never claimed to be because I guess where I'm looking at it is, how are you claiming psychosis, like where you lost your
Well, that's
mind?
just an excuse.
Right, where you've lost your mind, but then in the middle of it, you make a phone call.
No, I'm not defending that at all. That's just. So,
Right. I try to look at the totality of all the evidence, right? And I'm like, none of this makes any sense. You know what I mean? And I mean, like, I understand that people like lose their brain, like that girl, Hayden, right? You know, the chick from, remember the Titans? So she's the little blonde girl that was Coach's daughter, right? So she killed herself, right? And she claimed postpartum depression, you know, and then she turned to alcohol, and she claimed the same thing, is that she had no feelings, all that stuff. But she signed over full custody to her ex-fiance and allowed her daughter to live with him and all that stuff because she had substance abuse, alcoholism, but she went to a mental institution, all this stuff. And then she went to rehab and she tried to get better and all that stuff. And then she was sober for 7 years. But at that point, you know, her daughter's now 11. And at that point, she's like, I couldn't rip her from the life that she created in Ukraine, right? And that's what I'm saying. At that point, she knew, but she still obviously had demons, right? I understand that. I understand that people have those problems. And we do have a mental crisis in this, for whatever reason, going on. But she didn't kill her child, and she could have. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was substance abuse, alcoholism, all of the same shit that she's claiming. All of the same shit that this other chick claimed, where she killed her 3 kids by slitting their throats. Do you know what I mean? At some point, we have to start taking accountability for our actions.
Nobody's held accountable for anything they do.
Right.
Somehow, you know, people go out, lose their shit, and then just say, oh, I had a.
Yeah, I had a mental problem, or I had a bad
Because then
childhood.
everybody goes.
Right,
"Let's get you." Not instead of, why the hell did you beat the hell out of that person?
right.
Oh, I just had a lot going on there.
Yeah, like the one guy who beat the crap out of that 74-year-old. Yeah, like this,
So they give you a right to start swinging at people?
right, well, like that guy who beat the crap out of that 74-year-old woman, and they asked him why he did it. I mean, like, this woman is like in intensive care. They're like, why'd you do it? And he's like, I was having a bad day. I was having a bad day. So I gave you a right. This woman's just walking down the street, like walking down the sidewalk. And he just beats the living shit out of her. And his excuse is, I was having a bad day.
And that's because you can get away with shit. You know, start holding people accountable. There's no accountability for me. I mean, what stops me from just going out and beating the hell out of people when I can just say, oh, I had a bad day.
Right.
Oh, okay, well, you know, just don't do that again.
Don't do that again, right?
Meanwhile, somebody's life's been turned upside down because they're in the hospital or whatever. Now they have trauma where they're afraid to go out,
Right.
or whatever, because I was having a bad day.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's, at some point, we have to stop using mental issues as, or whatever.
And the bad
as
thing is, there are people out there who
really do,
have
right.
issues.
There's people out there who really do have mental issues. And it's starting to become like all these other buzzwords. It's like looked at as, okay, nobody's caring anymore. Nobody's giving it a second thought. It's becoming so overused and overplayed that nobody's
It
looking.
has no meaning.
Yeah, it's losing its meaning.
It's like every,
Right,
you know, everybody catches on some buzzwords and throw them in the ground, then all of a sudden they have no meaning, and a person that really does need help or really does, you know, have mental issues can't get the help because you got so many fake people in there taking up you know, caregivers' times or
Mhm.
psychologist time and all that because they're trying to get out of, well, I beat the hell out of somebody just because, you know, I was mad.
Right,
And also, people really do need help get pushed back to the back of the line,
right,
you know, and meanwhile, while they're waiting to get help, they're out doing crazy stuff.
right.
It's like the whole deal with, you know, people on social security. There are people that need social security that don't get it because people who just don't want to work or don't want to participate in society come up with, well, I have social anxiety.
Right,
Well, so do I. You know, I have a certain amount of anxiety when I go out, but I mean, you know, it's like my buddy's daughter or my buddy's sister and her husband both have social anxiety.
Anxiety,
I mean,
right.
come on.
and they're both on disability.
Yeah.
Right, right,
Meanwhile, there's people like my uncle who got messed up in so many car wrecks, couldn't walk, all this. I mean, he could walk, but just barely.
right,
He got on the social security and they gave him $80 a month.
right,
It's like, man, keep your $80 if that's what you think, you know, what I put into this world or whatever it's worth. You know, I'm sorry I got messed up now. You know, and then you have a 15, 16, not that young, but like
Right.
say 18 or 19-year-old, just, oh, I have a lot going on. I need social security. I can't work.
right.
Oh,
Yeah, but they're also making like $800-900 a month. Yeah.
I'm not saying you're gonna live good on it.
Well, no, what I'm
But
saying
then,
is,
but then you get into that, you go on a social security, then you get into income-based housing,
right,
you know, SNAP, EBT, whatever them programs are.
Right.
And then there's little old ladies who work their whole damn life, you know, and they're getting $60 a month. Somebody, it may be a retired nurse or something, I don't know, somebody actually contributed
to society,
to society,
right. Yeah,
you know, and then you got people who've contributed nothing, will never contribute anything, getting $900 or $1,000 a month plus all the other benefits.
yeah,
And I mean, I sound like a dick, you know, but the thing is, there's people who really need it that don't get it. Because people who don't need it learned how to play
Play
the system, like they took it in high school, how to get on social security,
or benefits,
you know?
right. Yeah,
It's just a shame that people that need help
can't get it,
can't get it when there's, you know, totally able-bodied people that are doing nothing with their life. Getting it.
yeah, I agree.
And I'll be the first person to buy somebody groceries if they're struggling and they're actually trying to help themselves. I have no problem helping somebody that's trying to help themselves. You know, but if you're just gonna sit back and say, I got social anxiety, I can't do anything. Yeah. All right, you gotta figure it out. I had to figure it out. You know. Oh, some bucks now.
Oh, it's okay, I go on rants all the time.
Huh?
It's okay, I go on rants all the time. Wish this rain would stop.
Is it raining?
Yep.
Come on, bro. Oh, God. Yeah. I didn't make it. What am I doing?
Right there's a thing. You passed it. A glyph. Turn around.
I'm hyper focused on this still.
They're gonna come back and go to lunch. The way they're taking these damn things. Mm. Well, it's noon. It's normally when they take their break. Oh no, they take it from 1 to 2. They're gonna come back and do their motion and go, we gotta go to lunch. I'll be right back. Oh, we're finally gonna come back.
All right. So the Commonwealth having rested, Mr. Reddington, does the defendant have a motion?
Yes, Your Honor, I passed it up to the court. I don't know if you have it in front of you. It's basically a Rule 25. It doesn't have any memoranda with it, but I would argue, and I would cite to the court the case that was decided of Commonwealth versus Brunette Silvera. It's BRUNETTE-SELVEIRA. It was decided towards the end of May of 26 by the appeals court in Massachusetts. It was a case out of the Boston Municipal Court where defendant was charged with assault and battery on a police officer. The evidence was presented that the defendant was acting erratically and that there was an awful lot of evidence that indicated that, brought out on cross-examination from witnesses, that the defendant was suffering from some type of a mental illness. Based on that evidence being presented, the government rested their case just as they've done here. My suggestion to the court is that the evidence that's been presented on this case against Ms. Clancy I would suggest does not rise to the level under Rule 25 of where even if you take the Lattimore standard and determine that the evidence would be decided in the light most favorable to the government at this stage of the case, I think the Brunette Silvera case places, as they describe it, a negative obligation to prove a negative as part of their case in chief on the government. I suggest to Your Honor that the evidence that has been presented in this case is overwhelming, that this young woman was clearly and unequivocally suffering from a mental disease or defect, that it was occupying her waking hours, her life, that she considered all of her avenues. She attempted to go to these healthcare providers, using the term loosely, that she went to these people. She had medication after medication after medication. She was obviously acting, I suggest to the court, in a state that was observed by witnesses that, in fact, that she was suffering from mental disease or defect, and then ultimately this horrific incident. So under that Brunette Silvera case, there's no evidence, I suggest, from the government that would rebut the fact that there is evidence of lack of criminal responsibility. So under Brunette Silvera and the cases that were cited in that opinion, respectfully, I would suggest that a required finding of not guilty should be entered on the case. I also would argue to the court that I think that under the Brunette Silvera standard and the evidence that Your Honor has before you, that the matter should be reduced down, if you will, from premeditated malice of forethought, cruelty, and atrocity to second degree. I'm not arguing at this stage Commonwealth versus Gray or any of its progeny as to manslaughter, but I think the court, certainly in its wise exercise of discretion, has the ability and the right to reduce the charge to second degree murder or enter a required finding.
All right,
Oh.
counsel, thank you. Come on.
No.
Thank you, Your Honor. The case that defense counsel cited, there was a presentation of the Commonwealth's evidence. Commonwealth rested. Defense called an expert who said that the defendant was not criminally responsible, and the Commonwealth relied on a cross-examination of that witness and did not call any further witnesses. So the motion was filed for a required finding at the close of all of the evidence, which is what's required under Commonwealth versus Lawson, which Brunette Silva cites and is still good law, an SJC case 475 Mass 806 from 2016, in which the court says that a motion for a required finding of not guilty by reason of lack of criminal responsibility may only be brought at the close of all of the evidence, not at the close of the Commonwealth's case. In this case, as you're aware, defense plans on presenting experts who testify that the defendant was not criminally responsible, and then the Commonwealth will have a rebuttal case with their own experts. So I think the time and place for the motion would be at the close of all of the evidence and not now.
All right. Well, I had an opportunity to take a look at Brunette Silvera. So based on that and based on the standard as described that I have to apply at this point, I'm going to deny the defendant's motion.
I don't think I have to object, but I will.
All right. As we say, duly noted.
Yes, thank you, Judge. Your Honor, could I inquire? Emily Thorndike is here and has been here. I'm just wondering, is the government ready for us to do the voir dire to see if she can testify? Because she is self-employed, she has patients and has canceled them day after day. I'm just inquiring if we're ready to go on that.
Right. So the question I think that we had put this over was in large part because of the records from McLean's. We know if those are in?
I've been inquiring with Madam Clerk if there's been any status from the clerk's office, and I've told they haven't received anything. We have a call over to McLean. They've acknowledged the receipt. They were waiting for a call back from somebody at the office. They thought that the records were produced on Friday, but that wasn't the case. So we have a call. We're waiting for a return call. I've provided people in my office the Madam Clerk's email address to get it expedited as quick as possible. So we are working to try to resolve the issue, and the hospital has acknowledged they received the subpoena. We just don't have a response yet. And I would just also remind that we discussed this last week and talked about doing this tomorrow on Tuesday in order to get those records and have time for everybody to get them and review them so that a proper examination of the witness can be done in a voir dire.
All right. Well, let's do this. Let's do this before we start going at each other. We'll see if the records come in. All right. The records come in, then we got to determine how long it takes for people to review it and get ready. So if we can do that this afternoon, great.
Right.
If we can't, I'll hear from the parties as to why we can't. We may have to do it tomorrow. But if we can do that today, I do understand that witness has been here a number of days. But at this point, it's a question of the records coming in, which really is out of both parties' hands. So if the records are in, the parties can get ready. We'll do that voir dire. If not, we may have to do that tomorrow. Okay. All right.
Understood.
Ms. Reddington?
Ready? Ready for the jury, Judge?
Yeah.
Who's your first witness? This should be a shit show. Was you a good mom? Who's he gonna put on the stand first?
All rise, please. Jurors entering. Court is back in session. You may be seated.
Return back to the trial, Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. Including the defendant and including the accused jurors.
All right. So members of the jury, as I indicated before, the Commonwealth is rested. All right. So at this time, I'm going to inquire of the defendant if she intends or wishes to call any witnesses at this time. Mr. Reddington?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Margaret Hamp, please, I believe she's right outside.
Well, she'd probably be a shit there too.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony and the evidence you give before the jury, the matter now pending between the Commonwealth
Hey, good afternoon. I'm going to ask you if you could keep your voice up and speak into that microphone. Okay, thank you.
I'm just going to say the same thing, so make sure that all the jurors way down here even can hear you, okay?
Okay.
Tell us your name.
This is Margaret Hamp,
And what town do you live in?
Stoneham.
And what do you do for work?
I'm a labor and delivery nurse
Where?
at Mass General.
And how long have you been working as a labor and delivery nurse?
I started on our labor and delivery unit in 2012.
Okay, so about what, 24 years? No.
I started for the obstetrics department in 2006.
Okay, so 20 years you've been working for Mass General between obstetrics and labor and delivery, right?
Correct.
Do you know Lindsay?
I do.
How do you know her?
I was working on the labor floor when Lindsay first started with us.
So this would be the labor and delivery floor, and she started as a nurse, correct?
Correct.
You had already been working there?
Correct.
And she was about, what, 24 years old?
Roughly.
And came in as a young woman as a nurse, correct?
Correct.
Can you tell us, to your observation, let me ask you this, how many years did you work with her?
She started, I believe, in 2015, and I worked until 2002 when she went out with Callan.
About 7 years or thereabouts. Did you know that she had a child, Cora?
Yes.
And did you know that she had a child, Dawson?
Yes.
And ultimately that she had a child, a baby that was born very, very recently, Callan.
Mm-hmm.
In the years that you were working with her, were you able to observe, I mean, did she like being a nurse? Did she want to work, or was she a good nurse? What's your opinion?
Lindsay loved being a nurse. She was really good at being a nurse. She was compassionate. She was kind. She was a patient advocate. She was the type of nurse that you wanted taking care of you or your loved one when you walked onto our unit.
Did you observe, for example, that on occasion when she would be involved with the delivery of a baby, that she would become emotional?
Lindsay was often emotional during birth of complete strangers. She would cry and she would just say that was so beautiful. You could just tell that she really loved being in that setting.
Over those years, right up until the time of Callan being born, fair to say that you stayed friendly with her?
Yes.
And you're still friendly with her?
Yes.
Can you tell us, did you observe during the time you worked with her how she emoted or felt about her children, all three of them?
Yes.
Tell us anything that you recall.
So Lindsay and I worked the night shift together, and often on the night shift you get to have an opportunity to really get to know your coworkers and celebrate things that are happening in their lives or support them with things that are not going so well. Lindsay asked a lot of questions of her coworkers about parenting. Simple things as she would poll the nursing staff about monogrammed lunch boxes, right down to sleeping habits. What questions do you ask a daycare provider to make sure that you're in the right place? She was often asking her coworkers childcare, parenting tips.
When she had Callan, after Callan was born in the late spring of 22, did you see her after the birth of Callan?
I did not see her after the birth of Callan.
Were you aware that she had taken a leave of absence from Mass General?
Yes.
Did you stay in touch with her by phone or text?
I briefly kept in touch through text. After Callan was born, I reached out to her and I asked her for her address and how she was doing so I could send her a gift. And then a few months later, she circled back to me to thank me for the gift that I had sent her.
Do you recall an incident on one occasion where she was looking or monitoring one of the children and the child was crying and you observed what happened after that?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Lindsay often checked in on her kids while they were sleeping at night. Again, we worked the night shift and she had the ability to look at her phone and see what Cora or Callan were doing in their cribs. And she shared that with a lot of us. There was one particular night that Cora was crying. She was probably about 6 months old. And Lindsay never let Cora cry. She wasn't at that point in parenting. And she was very communicative about that. And Cora was crying on the monitor. It was the middle of the night. And maybe after 10 minutes, she started to call Pat and he wasn't answering. And she got really worried that one, Cora was crying, but now Pat wasn't answering his phone. So in the middle of the night, she called the police to do a wellness check on her family.
Okay. And while you were working the night shift, is that pretty much what you both worked together all those years?
Yes.
Would that be through the pandemic as well?
Yes.
Would you say that that was quite a bonding experience, being in labor delivery up close and personal with patients during the pandemic at night?
Of course, it was a very challenging time as a healthcare provider.
Thank you very much. You can inquire.
No further questions?
Good morning.
Good morning.
So the incident that you just told us about where Ms. Clancy was watching the monitor overnight, you are aware that the police responded and everything was fine, right?
Yes.
And you worked with her through 2022 when she went out with leave on Callan?
Correct.
And you never visited their house after Callan was born, did you?
No.
You don't know what was going on in her life, did you?
No.
And she didn't share any of her struggles with you via text or in any other capacity, did she?
No.
And as a labor and delivery nurse, and having been trained in labor and delivery, and you said you worked obstetrics before, correct?
Correct.
Is it fair to say that you often have patients that come to you in both those areas that have some mental illness or are on psychiatric medications, right?
Sometimes.
And working labor and delivery, you have some training on how to handle patients that are on certain types of medications, right?
Limited training, yes.
Well, it affects how you're going to go through a birth plan or do a delivery if a person is on some sort of long-term medication, right?
Right.
And so you're aware that Zoloft is something that's deemed safe for pregnant moms and breastfeeding moms?
Yes.
And you've had patients that have dealt with bipolar issues before?
Yes.
And that they have to remain medication compliant in order to manage those things, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Nothing further.
So your experience dealing with patients that have birth to child, as the district attorney asked, and are on Zoloft and expressing issues of being a parent, were you aware of any incidents where Lindsay was with you and a woman did in fact express concern that she wanted to hurt herself or her child?
There was a particular patient that Lindsay was on staff when this patient arrived. It was a patient that arrived to the unit that had plans to harm herself while she was pregnant. And we had a conversation. Lindsay was brand new. It was the summer that she had just started. And we had a conversation about mental health in pregnancy and postpartum. And I asked her if she had ever heard of the Andrea Yates case, and she hadn't. And I explained that to her, and she cried. And she said, how could a mother hurt her children?
Thank you.
What
All set.
Thank you.
Commonwealth?
No.
All right, let me sit down, thank you.
What was this witness for him? That was a witness for him? It hurt him more than it helped him.
Counsel?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Ozga, please. Ozga, O-S-E-G-A.
I don't understand what that witness did for him. Is this another nurse that she worked with?
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Could I ask you, speak into that microphone, keep your voice up, okay?
Okay.
Great, thank you. Counsel?
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon. Tell us your name, please, and spell it.
It's Allison Ozga, A-L-L-I-S-O-N. Last name is O-Z-G-A.
You know Lindsay?
I do.
How do you know her?
Lindsay is my sister.
Oh.
And, can you tell us, are you close to Lindsay? Do you live near each other? Do you socialize? What type of relationship have you had with her?
We're very close. We have not lived in the same state for about 10 years now, but we do communicate, and I do think we're very close.
And do you text with her on a regular basis?
Yes,
And you talk on the phone, do you?
occasionally.
Directing your attention to the fall of, well, actually heading into like Thanksgiving and Christmas of 2022. Do you remember that time frame?
Yes,
And did you have occasion to see your sister during that period of time?
yes.
And let's direct our attention to, let's say, Thanksgiving 2022. Had you noticed any change in Lindsay's personality or any observation of how she appeared to you?
I will say on Thanksgiving in particular is when the first time I saw her in person after quite some time. I had known she had not been doing well via text message communication that we had. I think on Thanksgiving, she, her mood did not look good, or energy, she didn't seem very energized. It definitely seemed off from how I've seen her in the past.
And were you aware that that carried through from November into December around the holiday season if you had stayed in touch with her?
Yes.
And can you tell us what you observed about her around the holiday season as it related to her, from your observations and your texting and your communications with Lindsay? How did she appear to you at that point?
The beginning of December, it seemed like she very much decompensated. I do remember her saying at one point at the beginning of December, something along the lines of, I'm in a really tough spot. And knowing what she had shared with me previously about how her mental health had been struggling, I had this gut feeling that something was off and that she was really struggling. And I asked her if she was safe.
What did she say?
She said yes at that point.
And you knew her husband, Pat?
Yes.
And you knew the kids?
Yes.
Obviously. Do you recall around Christmas itself and perhaps a little bit thereafter that you spoke with her and that she indicated basically, I'm not doing okay?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury what you observed about her demeanor or her symptomology when you said she was decompensating around that time? What were they symptoms in your mind of?
Based on communication with Lindsay, and I started communicating with Pat directly at that time, she was reporting her mood was worsening, as she described as depression. She was having more suicidal thoughts. Insomnia continued to be an issue. She was really not feeling like herself.
And did you know that during that period of time where she was telling you about the suicidal thoughts and the issue of depression, that she was seeing doctors.
Yes.
And what did she tell you about seeing the doctors? And if she was on any medication? And if so, what effect did they have on her?
So the first thing she said about the doctors was back in October when she said that she saw a doctor for Zoloft and had a very awful reaction to that Zoloft.
Would that be Dr. Tufts?
I don't believe she shared that specific with me.
Share the name? Okay.
No. And then I think throughout our communication over the couple months of October to December, she did share with me that she was going to doctors, she was getting different prescriptions, kind of all the things that they were trying and different treatments they were looking at.
And do you recall when you were talking with her about her symptoms towards the end of December that she had, in your words, decompensated significantly and stated to you that she felt nothing and that she was scared, things of that nature?
Yes.
What else did she tell you, if you recall?
At the end of December, so I think it was more along the same of, that she is really not feeling well. Her mood is down. She's feeling numb. She's feeling hopeless. I believe at the very end of the month, she told me she had had suicidal ideation every day for a month.
You recall towards the end of the month around New Year's that she voluntarily admitted herself somewhere.
Yes.
You know where she admitted herself?
McLean Hospital.
And while she was at McLean Hospital, ultimately, do you know how she got out of McLean Hospital?
It was my understanding that she was weaning off of some medication that she was on, and then was eventually discharged 5 days later.
Now, did you see her or talk to her after she left McLean Hospital trying to wean herself off of whatever medication it was? Because you don't know what the medication is, right?
I believe it was Seroquel.
Seroquel.
Yep.
Did she tell you anything to the effect that when she got out of the hospital that she felt as though this was a step in the right direction? Did she seem as though she was trying to be positive about her life?
Yes.
And tell us about that. Because up until this point, you had observed her decompensating and having these symptoms and suicidal ideation and depression and feeling nothing and scary. When she got out of McLean, what did she appear to you and what did she say to you?
I believe she said she felt that that was a good plan and that she was starting to feel better.
So was your sister, in your opinion, granted she's your sister.
In your opinion, she's not a doctor.
Was she a complainer?
No.
And obviously, she didn't share with you in detail her doctors and medicines and things of that nature. Is that fair?
No.
But you were aware of the struggles and the hurt that she was going through.
Yes.
And then through the month of January, did you have occasion to see her, or were you, because you still live in different states?
Yes. Yes, I did have an occasion to see her in January.
When?
We went to Cora's birthday party.
And that was at the trampoline park?
Yes.
How did she appear at that?
I think she looked like she was going through the motions of putting together a birthday party for her daughter. But she looked tired. She looked like she was still struggling.
So there was a difference in your observation of what you had known your sister to have as a personality.
Yes.
And then, of course, the horrible day, were you aware, or did somebody call you and tell you that the children had been killed?
Yes.
One of them still survived and ultimately passed.
Yes.
And do you recall who told you that?
Yes.
Who was that?
My mother.
And as a result of getting the call from your mother, what did you do?
I jumped in a car, packed a bag, and I sped up to South Shore Hospital, which is where I was told she was.
Did you see her in South Shore Hospital?
No.
Did you know that she was then transferred to another hospital after South Shore?
Yes.
And what hospital was that?
I believe it was Brigham and Women's.
And were you able to visit her in Brigham and Women's?
Yes.
And did it take some time before they would allow you to visit with her?
Yes.
How long, if you know?
I think it was approximately 2 weeks.
Okay. And then you were able to see her pretty much on a regular basis?
Yes.
And where does your mother and father live?
In Connecticut.
And are you close to them?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury from the time of this incident in January 24th of 2023 up until now, 2026, Where has your mother and father been living?
My parents have been spending the majority of their time up here in Massachusetts
Why?
so that they could visit Lindsay as much as possible.
Almost on a daily basis?
Yes.
Was that on a bed and breakfast or a bed and bath, or was it a hotel, or where were they staying?
They've been living out of hotels.
Thank you, that's all. You can inquire.
Okay, so we're supposed to feel bad about that?
Good afternoon. Now, when Lindsay was at McLean Hospital and she was discharged, did she tell you that she asked to be discharged early to go to Cora's birthday party?
I can't recall.
And do you recall speaking to the police on January 25th, just a day after this all happened back in 2023?
Yeah, each on our own record.
And do you recall telling them that you saw Lindsay 2 weeks prior to the 24th, roughly around the birthday party time, and that she seemed okay?
Yes.
Do you recall telling the police that you spoke to her in phone calls many times after she was discharged to McLean, and that her tone of voice in those calls seemed better?
I did not speak to her on the phone. Most of our communication was via text.
So you don't recall saying that to the police, that the tone of Lindsay's voice in our phone conversations was better the last couple of weeks since she had been released from the hospital?
I believe when I said that, I meant her tone via her text messages.
And so her tone in her text messages was better?
A bit.
And do you recall telling police that you spoke to Lindsay on Thursday, January 19th, 2023, and she seemed okay?
Yes.
And that was a phone call, correct?
That was text message.
Text message, okay.
Yes.
So when you were saying spoke to the police, you were referring to text messages?
Correct.
And so in that text message, she seemed fine?
She seemed okay.
So she had just been released from McLean Hospital at the beginning of January, and all of your communications after the birthday party were text messages, is that correct?
I think the date's wrong.
I believe so, yes.
And just so we make sure we have the date correct, after she was discharged from McLean in January of 2023, up until January 24th, 2023, all of your communications were via text?
Yes.
Did you visit her at her home that month?
No.
So you didn't reach out or call her at all, correct?
I reached out and called, yes. I did not visit her at her home, no.
When you called, did she respond? Did she answer the phone?
I'm sorry, let me backtrack. I can't recall whether I made a phone call. I can recall the majority of our communication between January 1st and January 24th was via text message.
So there could have been some phone calls.
Teach somebody.
I cannot recall any phone calls.
You are a licensed social worker, correct?
Correct.
And you're a mandated reporter, correct?
Yes.
And at any point in time between January 1st, 2023 and January 24th, 2023, did you have enough concern about the safety of the kids or the safety of your sister to file a report as a mandated reporter?
No.
Thank you.
Damn.
Judge, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let me step down.
Damn.
I would call Paula Musgrove, please.
So the intrusive thoughts didn't get her to report. Daily intrusive thoughts didn't get her to report. That's gonna bite her in the ass.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay, I'm going to remind you, like I remind everybody else, just speak into the microphone if you could keep your voice up, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Afternoon, tell us your name and spell your name, please.
My name is Paula Musgrove, Paulamusgrove.
And this is Musgrove. Fair to say that you are Lindsay's mother,
Yes, I am Lindsay's mother.
and your husband is here as well in the blue shirt, correct?
Yes,
You've been here for every day for the trial, is that correct?
yes.
I just have a few questions for you. Obviously, you tell us about Lindsay when she was a kid. Was she a good kid, good student, that type of thing?
She was a very good kid and an excellent student, very excellent student all through school, through high school, college. Yes, excellent.
Ever been in trouble, law enforcement or schools or discipline or anything?
No.
Were you aware of her husband, Pat?
Yes,
And obviously, you knew when they got married, when they were dating and things of that
Yes.
nature, right? Went to the wedding, obviously.
yes,
Fair to say that you were close to your daughter and Pat,
yes,
and you knew, obviously, the grandchildren?
yes.
Tell the jury how you interacted and felt about your grandchildren.
I loved my grandchildren with all my heart. And you never know what it's like to love a grandchild until you become a grandmother. And it was the most beautiful thing. I love them with all my heart.
Now, did you have occasion to see how Lindsay reacted and treated her kids as a mother?
Yes.
And granted that you're her mother, so you're obviously biased. Tell the jury what observations you made of Lindsay as a mother through the years after Cora was born, and then Dawson, and then, of course, baby Callan.
Lindsay was a very loving mother. She was dedicated to her children. She was a fun mother. She was always doing things for her kids. She always wanted to be a mother, have many children, and I felt it was the best thing that ever happened to her. And she would do anything for her children. She was just a loving mother.
Now, in 2022, Callan was born, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you stay in touch with Lindsay and Pat during that period of time, the spring into the summer of 2022?
Yes.
And how often would you see them or talk to them, or what would you do? You go to cookouts, or would you have parties, or how would you socialize?
Myself and my husband would travel from Connecticut to Duxbury at least 2 or 3 times a month, as well as them coming to Connecticut to visit us.
And would you agree that in the summer, for example, of 2022, that Lindsay and Pat were active with the kids and were pretty happy?
Very happy, yes.
Did you observe in the summer of 22 any changes at that point in her personality and the way she was acting with her friends and in society?
In the summer, no.
And they were having a fairly good summer.
Yes.
Did you notice at some point a change in Lindsay's demeanor?
Yes.
Tell the jury when that was.
It was sometime probably around the 2nd week of October.
What happened that you noticed?
I noticed that she had become very anxious. She told me she was anxious about going back to work because Callan was having trouble taking a bottle and she didn't feel right about leaving him.
And as a result of that, did she tell you that she was going to put off going back to work?
Yes, she told me she was applying for an extension.
Now, did you know at that point that she was going through any issues involving depression or anxiety or having any suicidal ideation or anything like that?
At that point, no.
At what point, if any, did you become aware that your daughter was suffering from this symptomology?
In late October.
And how did that come about?
She sent me a text message.
And do you recall when that was?
Yes, that was on October 20th.
Now, Your Honor, the government has introduced into evidence the entire of the phone dumps, if you will, and I think they put it on a disc, and it's probably thousands of pages, but I do have the text thread that deals with that time frame in October. I'd like to offer that so that it's apparent what I'm referring to rather than having to search through thousands of pages of a disk.
No objection.
Okay. They may be admitted.
So I'm approaching, let me after this thing. Now, the text message that you're referring to, would that be on October 20th of 2022?
Yes,
And do you have that on your phone right now?
I do.
Can you just pull that up for us?
I can. Just give me a moment. Okay, I have it.
Counselor, do you have a copy maybe that she could look at?
Oh, I have a copy.
Yeah, that might be easier for the witness.
So I'm going to approach you
Oh
with
my God.
this.
I'm gonna approach with this.
And ask if this is a copy of the text that you're referring to.
Yes, it is.
Would you read that for the jury?
Mom, will you please come up and stay with me for a bit? I'm really sick. Something is wrong. I had horrible insomnia all night, and I just don't know how I'm going to get through the day. I started taking the medicine my doctor prescribed for anxiety, and I think it's made things worse. It's just really scary, and I don't want to be alone.
You want to write off this?
Objection. It's already in evidence.
What do we mark it for identification? Is that text within the?
I'd rather have it
first-
in the board.
Well, I know you would, but we already have the.
They want a little training. Can I just stop the board?
No, we're going to mark that for identification. The text that is been referred and read to is within Exhibit 276, which was just offered.
I'm sorry, which is what?
I think it was within Exhibit 276,
I want this.
which was within that thread that you just offered.
Okay, so I will then, that would be 276.
Instead of this piece of paper.
As a result of receiving that text, did you then come up to?
Hold on a second.
Exhibit W for identification.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, thank you.
All right, thank you.
So as a result of that, did you come up to Duxbury?
Yes, same day.
And tell us about that. What happened that day at the end of October?
Lindsay had been, I believe she went to the emergency room that day and she had come home. She was feeling a bit better. She told me that she couldn't sleep. She was very anxious and she was afraid.
And how long did you stay with her?
At that point?
Yes.
I believe at that point I stayed for about a week.
And was your husband with you?
He came later. He didn't come directly with me then because he was still working. So he came later.
I never asked. What did you do for work?
I worked for Weight Watchers.
And you're retired?
Yes.
How about your husband? Is he working now?
He recently retired.
And what was the nature of his work?
He was in photography.
What kind of photography?
School picture photography.
For yearbooks and things like that?
Yeah, and school pictures, and you had your kids' pictures taken.
And he just recently retired?
Yes.
Is it fair to say that during the month of October into November, into the holidays in December, that you and your husband would stay with Lindsay and the kids?
Yes. I stayed more than my husband because he needed to go back home to work.
Sure. While you were staying with Lindsay, can you tell us your opinion as to her condition? Was it decompensating? Was she getting better as time went on through November and December into the holidays?
Through November into December, it was not getting better into the holidays.
And you knew she was on medication at that point?
Yes.
You knew she was seeing doctors at that point?
Yes.
So tell us, is there an incident that came to your mind that you recall that occurred on one evening that indicated to you how seriously she was suffering?
All this is so leading.
There were many. one particular evening that was disturbing to me was that, I mean, she was afraid to be alone, and she actually asked if she could sleep with me.
When was that?
That was late November, early December.
And did she indeed sleep with you on that occasion?
She did.
Continuing on through the holidays, did you guys get together for the holidays, Christmas or Thanksgiving, if you recall?
Yes, I was down there probably most of December through Christmas Eve, and then I left on Christmas Eve to come home to see my other daughter and her family, and then Lindsay actually came to my house later the day on Christmas Day.
Was she with Pat?
Yes.
Okay, and the kids?
Yes.
During that period of time, did you make further observation as time went into January? Oh, back it up. At some point, she voluntarily went into McLean Hospital?
Yes.
You knew that?
Yes.
How did you know that?
I was there.
What do you mean you were there?
I was at Lindsay's house staying with them.
You take care of the kids?
Yes.
And it's fair to say that Pat's parents, mom and dad, also stepped up, taking care of the kids, helping out during this period of time?
They were there, I guess, when we weren't there. I didn't really see them, but.
Right, because you guys would be different time frames.
Right.
But you all were pulling together as a family, is that
Right.
correct? January, leading up to January 24th. Do you recall, and can you tell the jurors what, if any, observations you made of Lindsay and her condition?
Lindsay had lost a lot of weight. She had become, during this whole time, paranoid about different things that really she shouldn't have been, really weren't logical to become paranoid about. She would mention that this wasn't her mind. She would say to me, this isn't me. I've never been like this before. And I would agree because she wasn't. She was attempting to go through the motions of her day, take care of the kids as best she could. She didn't want to drive. So at times when Pat didn't go pick the kids up at school, I would drive Lindsay to pick the kids up at school because she was afraid to drive.
Did she express to you concern that in this time frame that people at the school, teachers and other people would be able to know what she was thinking and would think that she wasn't a good mother because she was sick?
Yes, she said the school knows something's going on because I'm not driving my car. They see that I'm not driving my car to pick the kids up.
Do you recall the end of January that she made a statement to you about the medication, in her opinion, what it was doing to her mind?
Yes.
What did she say?
She said that she couldn't remember anything. The medication was pretty much just destroying her mind, and it wasn't her. She said, this isn't me. I just want to feel better and enjoy my kids again.
Now, I know that this is difficult. In December of 2022, do you recall the time that you were in the kitchen with Lindsay and Patrick and she made a statement about her state of mind to her husband, Pat, and you were there?
Yes.
I know it's difficult. Just tell us what you remember.
I remember her being very nervous. I remember her saying, I just have to tell you guys something. And then she told us.
What did she tell you?
What?
She told us that she had thoughts of harming the children.
Thank you very much.
And you didn't?
Why don't we take the afternoon recess at this time? We'll come back for cross-examination. All right. So Mia, you can step down.
Thank you.
And you didn't call the police?
All right. So members of the jury, we're going to take the break at this time. We expect to have you back about 2 o'clock. Okay?
All rise, please. Your next.
So crazy. I love how nobody just doesn't call the police and have her locked up at that point. We just all let it slide. Thoughts of harming the children. Okay. I love how the lawyer just stops at that. Okay, no further questions. Huh. Cool.
All right, Counsel, can I see you just for a second, just kind of time-wise?
All right. Well, I'm going to take lunch break as normal, and then we will be back at 2 o'clock. I already have the stream set up to come back at 2. So I will see you then. Till next time.
Man, club justice system, but the deck set to fail. You speak for transparency, they call it a crime. Next day, you suspended for 6 months of your time. Pedigree, politics, trophies on the wall. Vanity awards while the ethics take a fall. They say it's for the free, but we know what it is. Power in the clubhouse, silence in the pit. Pedigree, politics, ribbons and lies. Smiles at the banquet, but the truth in disguise. You can muzzle the voice, but the truth don't crit. Dog show, kingdom built on counterfeit grit.